The hunt for the Black Widow is on. Russian security forces are searching for a suspected female suicide bomber who may be hiding out in Sochi as part of a planned terrorist strike at the Winter Olympics.
Islamic militants have already released a video promising to target the games, which start in less than 3 weeks. Caitlin Burke has that story.
Today, Russian authorities are searching for a so-called Black Widow. That's the term given to the wife of a dead terrorist who's vowed to carry out an attack to avenge her husband's death. This poster shows the woman police are looking for. They're afraid she arrived in Sochi weeks ago. She's from the North Caucasus region, known to be a hotbed for terror.
Remember, the Boston bombers came out of this Dagestan, Chechen rebel area. So I think the threats are real.
CBN News terrorism analyst ERICK says the militants have links to al-Qaeda, and they pose a threat not only in Russia, but around the globe.
Russia has fought 2 wars in Chechnya to keep them into the fold, and these guys are bloodthirsty, they're vicious, especially these Chechen terrorists.
Chechen rebels are well known for recruiting women to be suicide bombers. And those Black Widows have struck before. In 2010, 2 female suicide bombers killed about 40 people in attacks on the Moscow train station. CBN News has reported from that dangerous North Caucasus region before. It's one of the least evangelized places on Earth. But some believers, working in the shadows, claim it's a risk worth taking to make the name of Christ known.
Only Jesus can change lives and bring the hope people are looking for.
Islamic militants in the region have already carried out 2 recent attacks, and they're warning of more to come, including what they're calling a surprise package for visitors to the Olympics.
If the games aren't attacked, there will be attempts to attack either the transit routes into the games or particular venues on the outlying areas.
Meanwhile, President Vladimir Putin says he will use whatever measures are necessary to ensure the Olympics are safe. Already more than 80,000 Russian troops are deployed on the ground. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
In other news, America's East Coast is gearing up for yet another winter storm. John JESSUP has that story from our news bureau in Washington. John?
That's right, Gordon. A winter storm is hammering the eastern part of the country today. The National Weather Service warns it could bring up to 10 inches of snow to New York and Philadelphia. And a polar freeze will send temperatures plummeting to sub-zero from the Midwest to the Northeast. Chicago is expecting as much as 2 inches of snow an hour and conditions that feel like 22 degrees below zero. Schools and offices in Washington, D.C. closed in advance of the storm, while crews in Virginia work around the clock to prepare, spraying roads to keep the ice and snow from sticking.
Heavy snow spreads from West Virginia to the eastern seaboard, up and into coastal New England. Some spots as much as 6 to 12 inches. That includes Long Island, the New York City area, back on towards D.C.
The Arctic front is expected to last until the weekend. An iconic cross has survived a wildfire near Los Angeles. The Los Angeles County Fire Department says the blaze should be contained by Wednesday. And although at least 6 homes and 1,700 acres were destroyed, the cross is still standing tall. The 10 to 12-foot emblem sits on top of a peak in the Azusa Mountains and is visible for miles. And even though much around it has been burned, the cross itself seems to be unscathed. You can find out more about the history of the cross by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Well, staying optimistic and keeping a positive outlook on life could keep you healthier as you get older. Those are the findings from a new British study that included more than 3,000 people over 60. The researchers found people who enjoy life have fewer physical problems as they age, so they can walk faster, and they're less likely to have problems with their daily lives, like getting dressed or getting out of bed. All the more reason, Gordon, to stay positive.
That's right. You need to stay dressed and be able to get out of bed, so let's all put on a happy face.